We have thousands of people who go missing every year, just here in the United States, and there's no discrimination on the missing. They are young, old, black, white, male or female, even children. It's time to stop. Here at Coles is still missing, and they've not found any new clues. It's women who are pregnant, it's women who have jobs, and it's women who have not seen even fetal abductions. Have you seen me? Welcome to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for caring. Hello guys, welcome to part 2 of the arraignment. Please press the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell if you'd like notification.
We'll be on the record here in Fremont County. It is 11:44 here on the 26th of May, 2021. Good morning to everybody. We will call up case number PR 2221-1624, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. Miss Vallow, Miss Daybell, is present here with her attorney, Mr. Means. I have Miss Blake. I have Ms. Smith and Mr. Wood appearing here for the state. This is the date and time for an initial appearance. The court took a recess prior to the hearing today and had a sidebar with counsel in chambers. Based upon the information that was provided to the court finds that there's some exigent circumstances as well as a motion that was made orally to me to continue the initial appearance by the defense to a future time. A date certain has not yet been set. What is the state's position with regards to the motion made by defense to continue this initial appearance?
Your Honor, the state objects to the motion to continue.
Mr. Means, it is your desire to seek a motion for continuance, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
I couldn't hear you. Will you speak a little bit louder?
Correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. Based upon the information that was provided to the court is going to continue this initial appearance based upon the information that was provided to me, and we will set this for a time and date certain in the future. For right now, we don't know that date and time, but we'll get that set as soon as is feasible. Any questions about what's going to happen here today, Mr. Wood?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Means?
No, Your Honor.
We'll proceed from there. Thanks, everybody, for...
Your Honor, we would quickly ask if Mr. Means has entered a notice of appearance on this case.
Mr. Means, is it your intent to represent Miss Daybell here in this case?
It is, Your Honor.
You plan on entering a notice of appearance to, I guess, just to memorialize that?
As soon as I get an opportunity, I will, Your Honor.
Any other questions, Mr. Wood?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, that will be all for today. Thanks, everybody, for appearing. We will be adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so a continuance on an arraignment. I don't know. So, according to legal experts, this is not something usually done, and it makes no sense. So, we really didn't get much from that. We see Lori sitting there. There's no emotion, nothing coming from her. I think she still believes that, well, the reality has to be hitting her as well. Could she be facing a death penalty? At least life in prison. These charges are no baby charges any longer. I mean, these are real charges. This is something that will be something that puts them behind bars from here on. Charges like this, will we see a bond? I guess not. Not to mention that she is completely broke, and Chad Daybell is completely broke. I mean, right now he's facing insurance fraud. he has nothing left. So what we hear is at one point Lori was going to talk, according to one of Rob Wood's recordings. It wasn't exactly his recording. It was recorded by Garrett Smith. And I'm going to play that clip for you where they actually had a hearing about, they're trying to have Rob Wood thrown off the case. In this recording, Rob Wood is speaking to Lori Vallow's sister, Summer Shiflett. And I want to point out some reminders that Rob Wood said that he was going to try not to go after the death penalty for Lori, but he never says that about Chad. He also says that Chad Daybell is the mind of this, and that everybody that he talks to says that Lori never had any kind of issues in the past. Well, we all know that's just a narrative for some reason they're wanting to take, but there's tons of history where Lori's been referred to as a nutty Mormon. Several instances where she's attacked or stalked people, which I will cover in our series as I can. So threats are nothing new to Lori. Attacking people is nothing new. She's always been the mastermind on these kind of acts, and she gets her brother to carry them out. So she pulls the strings on the weapon. So I will not fall for that narrative that she was this is not the same woman that people knew in the past, because she's always had a history of being a bit fanatic. The only difference is it's become more and more violent as the years pass by, and that she found someone that would support that side of her and egg it on. So let's go ahead and play this video clip.
We are going to be filing conspiracy to commit murder charges against both Chad and Lori.
Good.
And we're not shy about that. I've told their attorneys. His attorney keeps pretending like I've never said that. Whatever. What? But we have to.
Yeah.
We have to. But I kind of want to give you like a little bit of background of where we are, and kind of like our kind of theory of how this ended up where it was. We know that this is not the same Lori everyone else knew. What's so strange to me is everyone we talked to who knew Lori before this, well, she was primary president. She made quilts for these kids. She made everything fun.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loved her. She loved everyone.
Great mom.
Great mom. That's what everyone says. And you know, so the one thing I'm going to kind of ask you to consider is maybe something happened. I don't know what. I don't know if it's psychological. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. But something happened, and I think Colby, the way he said it to me, I think it's kind of it's like the person who's in that jail cell is not my mom, it's someone else.
So he's saying that Colby, the son, the oldest son of Lori Vallow, says that this isn't the person that he knew in the past. But does he know his mother at all, really? Well, I'm sure he's finding out as people start, sleuths, and mostly sleuths, start digging in the background of Lori, pulling up old documents where she had stalked Joseph Ryan and been part of the attack of Joseph Ryan. And then the audio tape that come out that said that I wanted to murder Joseph Ryan. So let's continue.
Like, I've got my job to do.
Absolutely.
But we also want the truth and the whole truth and the context of it. And Chad Daybell is... did you ever meet Chad?
So I met him once at a Preparing People. I went to one Preparing People thing, and my mom and husband and I went to support Lori, and she wanted to support Mel. So we went and met Chad after he talked for like 90 seconds maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So here's an interesting statement when you want to talk about finding truths. According to Summer Shiflett, they go to one of the Preparing the People conferences, tagging along with Lori, who is going to support Melanie Gibb. And so there's a few optional dates for this. You have the month of February, where Lori Vallow supposedly had gone missing for around 50-ish days. Charles Vallow had actually filed for a divorce February 8th, 2019. Lori left J.J. Vallow behind and had Tylee with her. So Lori Vallow has contact with her family going to these conferences, and the family being supportive to Lori, who is being supportive of Melanie Gibb at this time. Which this is the same time that Lori is also trying to get more involved with Chad Daybell and Melanie Gibb and the Preparing the People group. In just a few months from now, Lori will actually be one of the hosts of the podcast going through Preparing the People, which will be later on around December 4th through December 8th. Okay, so let's move forward.
That. And then he called me when Lori got transferred to the Idaho jail. He texted me and said Lori wanted to talk to me, and I was like, yeah. And then the second I hung up with her, he called me to ask me about bail for Lori. So I've talked to him maybe 3 times briefly on the phone, never a long extended conversation. But the first thing he said to me when he called me was that he said, Lori hasn't told me very much about the kids, so there's not really much I can tell you about it.
So here, we're finding out that Chad is calling her family for bail. This says a few things for me. If he is not helping her out and he's encouraging her to ask her family, if it's not her, which I doubt. This is a man that is going to look out for himself no matter what. Then he has the balls to say that he doesn't know what happened to the kids, knowing what we know now. This says a lot of his character, who he is, and what level he will go to lie, manipulate, and distract from the truth.
Right. Of course you said that. Welcome to Chad Daybell. So what I want to kind of
I have my own opinions formed of him.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
He's highly manipulative.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm not going to say he's highly intelligent, but you don't have to be highly intelligent to be highly manipulative.
Absolutely.
He is extremely manipulative, and your sister manipulated him in some ways too.
So here, Rob Wood is saying that Chad is manipulative, which we all know, and sitting waiting, that he's more manipulative than Lori. Then he flips it and says, she's quite manipulative as well. There is no doubt in my mind, after seeing everything that went on, her blaming her brother Adam for trying to kill her, which we all know is absolute lie. Charles was going to kill her for her insurance money too. So I would have to say that Lori and Chad are pretty much running head to head when it comes to manipulation. One is not worse than the other. And this narrative does not work for me. How does it work for you? Share below.
The context for everything that happened came from Chad.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we have enough evidence to prosecute him, and we are. The case against your sister is stronger.
Going back to this video and comparing it to what we know today, we noticed that they learned a whole lot more since this video came out not that long ago. Because since Tammy Daybell's report come back, there had to have been something on there, and I'm curious to find out what it says. Because now the case is much stronger against, I think, Chad Daybell. Now, another thing that's coming forth is I made a video stating that, Charles Vallow's case, we haven't heard anything on it, and we were worried about it because we seen him beg and plead for help and didn't get it. So, Justin Lum said that he did a story that they're getting ready to bring charges for that as well. So, there's more charges supposedly coming. And that must be incredibly exciting for Kay, especially Kay, because Lord knows that he went through so much. Let's hope that he can bring the justice for everything he went through.
I kind of want to give you just that background. That's kind of the context we see this as. Like, this guy came in here and, again, I'm not making excuses for anyone, but kind of blew up this situation. Mm-hmm. And he did not care who died, who got hurt. He did not care at all. And the other thing I'm going to tell you is your sister truly believes that everything she's done has been done in righteousness.
I know.
And I know I'm kind of using LDS speak there.
Yeah, it's 100%. That's my interpretation also. Yeah, I think she 100%.
So I wanted to bring this back up just to point out which direction Rob Wood was going at this point in time in the case. I can tell you right now, the Woodcocks, that will not be acceptable at all. The death penalty should be put on the table. This isn't an accident. This isn't an irrational one-time thing. This isn't a bunch of gang members who often have fights over territory and drugs. These are innocent people, no longer here on earth. It's 2 children, an innocent mother who didn't get to finish out her lifetime with her children and grandchildren. So let's hope that this was just something he was kind of going on about, but has planned to put the death penalty on the table for both of these people.
I know it's going to be a hard interview.
I was wondering if you would be willing to tell me, if you're able to tell me, if there's any progress in what you know about Tylee and her death. Is there any progress in her autopsy where you understand better?
All I can tell,
Do you have a cause yet, or is it close to one?
She is at the FBI's state-of-the-art crime lab. Unfortunately, there's a lot of deceased bodies there that they're going through.
I'm sure.
And so we're not, we don't know really any more yet. And we may never know due to the destruction of that body.
So, wanted to put that there to make sure that everybody remembers just how badly they done Tylee Ryan.
And we hope we'll find out. We may not, but obviously we know it's her. There was soft tissue that was still preserved enough to do DNA tests.
Thankfully you guys found them. We wouldn't have ever known.
Yeah.
And I would have never dreamed that she would have ever heard them. So.
You know what? And everyone says that.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says. I never would have. So.
You know what would be an interesting question to Lori Vallow's family? Do you think Lori Vallow would ever hurt Charles Vallow? Well, I can tell you that I believe, now that I've researched everything that she's done, as a friend of Lori, I think she would be capable of getting some sort of revenge at least. So if a prosecutor asked me, was Lori ever this type of person? Well, in my mind, I'm going to know that she is revengeful. I don't understand. Are these people blind or in denial?
It's a tragic thing.
It really is, yeah.
And, but I just want you to know how grateful we are. I know you don't have to talk to us, and so we're just grateful that you're willing to. And and helping us that way. And I'm sure kind of difficult knowing like they're asking me for information that's going to help them in a case against your sister. But I guess the thing I want you to know is our whole goal is just justice for these kids, you know. And our hope as it comes to it. Well, your sister's actually made some overtures. She might be willing to talk to us.
I hope
And here's why I'm playing this clip. Listen very closely.
she does. I pray for that all the time.
We hope she does.
Yeah.
She actually was talking with Chad about talking to us before we found the bodies, just a few days before, and he talked her out of it.
That is so interesting to me. So how did they know that he talked her out of it? And how did they know what she was going to say? That is interesting. And it also will give you an idea of a possible direction she might go now that she's facing these kind of charges. This will be very interesting to see which way either of these two go. Will one turn against the other? Will there be a plea deal? And if the Charles Vallow case throws on even more charges on top of Lori, and I'm curious to know if Chad will be attached to that as well, depending on, I guess, the text messages and GPS information they pull up. Because remember, Chad did tell Lori that he was now no longer Charles Vallow, but Ned Snyder, a zombie. Will this turn into something that's gonna trial harder on Chad Daybell than it does Lori Vallow? And when I get to my series, which is very interesting, guys, I'm just having trouble getting it loaded since I've been sick and have so much going on. But starting, since the last one, it's going to start really getting interesting according to how we got to this point. So, Life Beyond the Grave, it's starting to move pretty good right now. I've got some new information in there, and I've added some research to where I think the fear originated. So continuing on with what Rob Wood was saying is Lori was about to talk at one point, but we don't know what she was going to talk about. Was she going to tell what happened to the children? Or was she going to come up with a story?
Which is too bad. It would have been better for her to tell us.
Yeah, sure would have.
We were actually just finishing up our warrant on the day that she said that. We were just getting ready to go out there, but it would have been, that would have been even better, and he talked her out of it.
Yeah.
And then the night before, she says to him again, like, hey, what do you think about, and he uses this kind of, I call it spiritual abuse, spiritual manipulation.
Yeah.
We've all seen that guy in the LDS religion whose wife has to obey him because he has the priesthood type thing, and that's not what he says, but it's the same type of thing. Well, I'm the visionary guy, so,
And trying to speculate what Rob Wood means by this. Maybe Chad Daybell was telling Lori that, look, my angels are telling me that things are going to be good, just hold out. You have to stick together type thing. So, interesting. We don't know if that's what happened, but it seems possible.
Anyway, again, I just wanted to meet with you real quick, introduce myself and Mackenzie.
I've obviously seen you.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't take any joy in doing anything that's going to harm her. I don't take joy in her spending her life in prison. There's nothing.
Sure.
It hurts to think about her being in there.
And so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. It's been a long day and a long week of putting these, that's a lot of work I put into these research and videos. But, you can hear where Summer's confused and conflicted on how to feel, because this is her sister. This is somebody that she grew up with and really didn't understand just how much she was struggling mentally And I want to say, I do believe that Summer has been part of her drama and has seen her drama. And there's a possibility that Summer was manipulated by her, because everybody was manipulated by her. Sadly, her own children were manipulated. So, what role Chad had to play with her taking the steps that were so deep that she can't ever dig her way out. It's interesting. Would she have continued that path if she hadn't have met Chad? Because if she hadn't have met Chad, she would have met somebody else. She was still walking a certain path, and that path was attached to Doomsday, Second Comings, and she was listening to podcasts that Chad was teaching through people like Julie, which I will also cover in the series. I mean, I'm going to have all that in order for you guys, and I could put more in there. I'm just running out of time. But you're going to see the order in which these things come out and who did what first. Anyways, I just want to send my love out to all the families out there. Thank everybody, investigators, law enforcement, for doing everything that they did at the end to at least get them to this point and bringing them to justice. Guys, I'm so tired tonight, so I love you guys. Don't forget that we have these women that are still missing out there. Their stories are not, they're cold stories. Nobody's talking about them. There's no additional information to add. And a 5-year-old little girl. And there's more out there missing. I just can't keep up with them all. I have to pick a handful right now. Please, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I do have a Patreon that I tried to add to, and I'm going to add to it shortly here. I'll try to this week. But it's mainly just there if you want to donate to help me out for the work that I do for this channel. Because it gives me the opportunity to be able to put that much time into my stories, because it's a lot of work, guys. I love you guys. I hope all of you are doing well. I want to say thank you for those of you who support this channel so faithfully. You are great people, and I appreciate you being here. See you soon.